Hello again. This video is about analyzing the macro environment. The macro environment is the external forces and factors that influence a firm's decisions and performance, but that it doesn't control, that really can't influence at all. So that includes things like political environment, environmental forces like global warming, technological changes, things that a firm by itself can't manipulate. So how do managers do this? There are an enormous number of environmental factors that could be potentially useful. So one way that the way the book deals with this is it has a classification scheme like PASTEL, which is political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal trends, forces. That's great, but still, which ones matter? So traditionally in strategy, we've accomplished this with the OT parts of SWOT. So SWOT is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the environment, the macro environment in particular, is the source of opportunities and threats that business either can exploit or defend against. That's still kind of weak because the same environmental factor, the same trend, can be both an opportunity and a threat for the same firm, and clearly for different firms that could be different things. So the way I want you to think about this is the ones that the environmental things that matter are the things that influence key success factors, which are shown here. How do you know what a key success factor is? Well, there's really two parts to it. One is, what do our customers want? So when I talked about value creation in the other video, you create value by doing things or providing services or goods that customers want. So to do that, you need to know who they are. In demographic segment terms, are they industrial? Are they consumers? Are you providing a service? Are you providing goods? Where are they? How much money do they make? All of those demographic issues matter. And then what do they want? Right? So depending on what you're offering, you have to offer value, and the value is determined by what customers want. The other side is, how does the firm survive competition? There are changes, technological changes, for instance, that have made some very profitable firms much less profitable. So firms that actually make electronics now, as electronics has become, goods have become more and more commodity, have problems because firms that were competing on features are now forced to compete on price. So when you look for trends, start with key success factors, nail those down first when you do the analysis, and then start to look at the environment. So you need these first. And when you do this, you're not really concerned with categories like political. You're concerned with trends and events. So I'm assuming you know what a trend is. It's going up or down, growing, vanishing, faster, slower, those kinds of things. Change in some environmental factor. So, for example, in the recent press, particularly with the success of the new Star Wars franchise for Disney, there have been a lot of analysts who have been downgrading Disney because their most profitable subsidiary, ESPN, is losing subscriptions as more and more young people do away with their cable television subscriptions. ESPN's resource base is shrinking, while its cost base, which is driven by big fixed payments to sports leagues, is staying the same. So where's the trend? Is the trend cord cutting? Is the trend the shift to mobile devices? Are there other revenue sources that aren't through a conventional cable channel? So the analysis of how trends are affecting ESPN in the future really depend on those key questions. What do customers want, and how do we survive competition? Not cable cutting is bad and all of our customers are leaving. So the other thing you want to think about when you talk about the macro environment is, are you talking about an event that triggers a trend or a series of events that signal a trend? And focus on the underlying trend. So the Fukushima quake in the nuclear industry, and in a lot of other industries, disrupted a huge number of supply chains. Well, the underlying trend is that supply chains are becoming more global and less resilient. We've seen a lot of LGBTQ-related legislation in court cases, marriage equality. Kim Davis in Kentucky. What's the underlying trend? We're having a change in family structure. What does that tell us about opportunities and threats? What does it tell us about what our customers want and how we survive competition? So really, when you do external analysis of the general or macro environment, focus on events and trends.